David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news. The tornado watch as we come on the air. Life-threatening flash flooding in the Northeast. Heavy rain and damaging winds from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia to New York. New video of the tornado devastation in the Midwest. A monster EF3, winds up to 140 miles per hour on the ground for nearly half an hour. And the major disruption for air travel. Lee Goldberg tracking it all. The images coming in, a powerful earthquake rocking Japan, the 6.8 magnitude quake collapsing buildings, the urgent search for nearly a dozen people after an explosion inside a shopping mall. And breaking late today, the convicted high school shooter sentenced to life in prison without parole. Prosecutors playing jail calls with his mother, recorded weeks after the shooting, claiming he reveled in his notoriety. Dramatic rescues along the California coast, lifeguards pulling thousands of swimmers from rip currents and dangerous surf, and another threat on the way. New video emerging showing the moments after the wife of a Kansas City Chiefs coach was shot and wounded, allegedly by their son. Officers seen carrying her from the house. Police say she called 911 herself. President Trump delivering the eulogy at the funeral for the late Senator Lindsey Graham, calling him a true American original and beloved friend. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Zelensky attending his funeral, both having high-stakes meetings with the president at the White House. News tonight about the American woman who vanished while on vacation in Grenada. Her family sharing video claiming it shows when she was last seen jumping into the water. The frightening kidnapping of a 13-year-old girl. The police chase, officers opening fire. A chaotic scene on the streets. A suspect accused of taking a stolen backhoe on a destructive joyride. A loud pack of coyotes taking over an abandoned condo complex. And the chaos in the outfield. The elusive squirrel, Major League Baseball's newest star.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, I'm Wade Johnson in for David tonight. We begin with breaking news. A tornado watch and life-threatening flash flooding in the Northeast at this hour. Heavy rain and damaging winds in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York. Up to 3 inches of rain per hour in some areas. Possible flash flooding in several counties in New Jersey. At least 5 reported tornadoes in Illinois and Wisconsin over the last 24 hours, including an EF3 with winds up to 140 miles per hour. Hundreds of flights delayed or canceled. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. But first, ABC's Rhiannon Ally leads us off with the images coming in.
Tonight, a dangerous late-night storm threat looming for millions in the Northeast and Midatlantic. From the same system that spawned these devastating tornadoes in the Midwest. Parts of the Northeast, D.C., New York, and Philly bracing for rainfall rates up to 3 inches an hour.
Level 3 out of 4, which is actually very unusual for this area. Typically, we only get it in tropical systems.
The ground is saturated. These scenes from New Jersey after storms brought a quick burst of torrential rain overnight. And now a new system moving in after showing its teeth Monday afternoon in the Midwest. Trees snapping in front of this driver in Appleton, Wisconsin. Another view from the rear-facing camera shows just how close they came to getting crushed. Our Alex Perez just a few miles from there in Menasha.
You can see what's left of this stretch of Menasha just shredded by the storm. There are cars flipped over. There is debris just about everywhere. And if you look over here, you can see this house was lifted from its foundation and shoved into this other home. Officials believe the twister that ripped through here was at least an EF3 with powerful winds of up to 140 miles per hour.
Oh my God, we're in a tornado!
Joseph Schwarzkopf shot this video outside his front door just before he took cover.
I was laying on the ground and my windows were shattering and there was glass flying around my house. You know, in 53 years, this was definitely the most scared I ever was in my life.
The storms also hit Illinois. Teams from the National Weather Service confirming at least 2 tornadoes in northern Illinois. This apartment complex in the Chicago suburbs now uninhabitable. Another disastrous day for travelers. More than 2,000 flights canceled and another 6,000 delayed just here in the U.S. And it's not over yet. It's going to be a stormy night for millions. Whit.
And we can see that rain coming down. Rhiannon, thank you. Let's get right to ABC's senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. And Lee, the severe flood threat continues overnight.
Yeah, we're gearing up for heavy rain here in New York City. It's a dual threat of severe storms and flood threat all the way from the Midatlantic into the Northeast. You know, we have active tornado warnings south of Philly, east of D.C., northwest of Richmond, all the way down to Charlotte, North Carolina through the evening hours. We've seen damaging wind reports from the Northeast to North Carolina. The tornado watch in the Mid-Atlantic, that'll include Philly and Baltimore and D.C. That goes through 10 o'clock tonight, and flood watches into New England. Here in the tri-state area, severe storms, the significant flood risk, that's going to go through tonight. Rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches an hour possible in Philly and New York City, right into the Hudson Valley of New York. And then another line of heavy rain pivots into the I-95 corridor this evening. The focus will then turn to New England, a level 3 out of 4 flash flood risk. Again, a widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain, more than a half a foot possible from Connecticut to Vermont. It's a rough 24 hours in the Northeast. Whit?
Sure is. We'll keep an eye on those warnings, Lee. Thank you. Overseas tonight, a powerful earthquake rocking Japan. The 6.8 magnitude quake collapsing buildings. Nearly a dozen people trapped inside a shopping mall after an explosion. And new warnings about damaging aftershocks. Here's ABC's Britt Clennett.
Tonight, a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake rocking southern Japan. A rescue operation is now underway following an explosion that ripped through this mall. Japanese broadcaster NHK obtaining video capturing the moment of the blast, believed to be caused by a gas leak. Part of the building collapsing. Authorities say they've rescued some people from the wreckage, but adding at least 2 workers died and 10 others remain unaccounted for. Shoppers had evacuated the mall about 90 minutes earlier, just after the quake hit. Its epicenter near the southern western island of Kyushu. Officials confirming dozens of people are injured or missing, and there is extensive damage to infrastructure. Bridges and shrines collapsing, roads buckling, fires breaking out in damaged buildings. Roughly 300,000 residents told to evacuate the affected area, with thousands of emergency personnel now deployed.
Where Japan's Prime Minister has warned of potential aftershocks in the coming days and says there is still a risk of more buildings collapsing and landslides. Whit?
All right, Britt Clennett for us tonight. Back here in the U.S., late today, a judge in Georgia sentencing convicted high school shooter Colt Gray to life in prison without parole. Prosecutors playing jailhouse phone calls to his mother in the courtroom to bolster their case. Let's get right to ABC's Faith Abubey. Faith, good evening.
Good evening to you, Whit. Word just coming in from inside a Georgia courtroom. 16-year-old school shooter Colt Gray will spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge's decision today coming days after Gray pleaded guilty to all 55 counts against him. Today in court, prosecutors playing recordings of jailhouse calls between the teenager and his mother. Gray was bragging that he was now in the, quote, big leagues of mass shooters. The then 14-year-old opened fire inside Appalachia High School in September 2024 with an assault-style rifle, killing 2 teachers and 2 students. His father now convicted of second-degree murder for buying his son that gun as a Christmas gift. And Whit, his father will be sentenced later on this week. Whit.
Okay, Faith Abubey with those breaking details. Now to the new video emerging tonight showing the moments after the wife of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator was shot and wounded, allegedly by their son. Authorities say she called 911 herself. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight we see the frantic moments as first responders quickly carry Mia Bieniemy from her Virginia home after she had allegedly been shot by her son. All this as a sheriff's deputy races toward the residence, gun drawn. And tonight, new details with the wife of Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy still in the hospital, healing from multiple gunshot wounds. A criminal complaint claims the couple's 27-year-old son, Elijah Bieniemy, shot his mother in the left shoulder and forearm with a .22 caliber Ruger firearm.
Units, be advised, the son still has the weapon currently located within the home.
According to the complaint, Mia Bieniemy required surgery to treat the wounds and injuries, with a portion of a projectile still remaining in her body. And we learned despite her injuries, Mia Bieniemy actually called 911 herself to get help.
The mother who we know had called in the shooting, and it was involving the son.
With the son remains in police custody, authorities described this as a domestic dispute, but noted they had not been to the home before. And with the sheriff said the son had no arrest record that he knew of.
Pierre Thomas for us tonight. Now to the funeral for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. President Trump delivering a eulogy, remembering him as a true American original. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Ukraine's President Zelensky also in attendance. Their visit coming as both leaders hold critical meetings at the White House. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, as senators, Supreme Court justices, and heads of state gathered at the National Cathedral, President Trump remembering his dear friend, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham.
A true American original who left us much too soon. And that can only be the one and only Lindsey Graham.
The senator's sudden death shocking the nation's capital.
But no matter how heated things got in Washington, virtually everyone, Republican or Democrat, liked Lindsey. Well, not everybody, but it sounds good. Not everybody. He was a tough cookie, okay? I have to veer from this for a second. He was a tough cookie, Darlene, but he was beautiful.
Trump praising Graham as a man who loved his country and never quit.
He had unwavering faith in the righteousness of American power and prayer. He was extremely hawkish. I will tell you, he never saw a war that he didn't like.
In the pews today, two close Graham allies, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, watching as Trump said his final goodbye with a gentle pat on Graham's coffin. Trump meeting with both leaders separately at the White House, Netanyahu's first face-to-face with the president since the war began exactly 5 months ago. Their relationship has hit a rocky patch. Earlier, Trump bristling when told Netanyahu was bringing him intelligence showing Iran is trying to rebuild its nuclear capabilities.
Well, I don't need Bibi to tell me that. Bibi's telling me that because he wants me to stay involved.
Netanyahu later describing their Oval Office sit-down as excellent, a conversation of full partnership, of mutual support, one of the best conversations he's had with Donald Trump. And with some breaking news to report here, CENTCOM just announcing that Iran has launched an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces in the Middle East. But they say that all of the Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. Whit.
All right, Mary Bruce at the White House. We appreciate it. Next tonight, dramatic rescues up and down the California coast. Lifeguards rushing to save thousands of swimmers caught in treacherous surf. And now a new warning increasing the water threat. ABC's Kana Whitworth on the coast in L.A. County.
Tonight, dangerous high surf and powerful rip currents forcing thousands of rescues along California beaches. You can see how fast the current pulls this swimmer and lifeguard from the shore in Venice, and this female guard racing to rescue a man, leading him out of the rip current. Nearly 2,000 rescues in just LA County over the weekend.
I would predict that we're going to see, another round or at least another weekend of large rescue numbers.
Starting tomorrow, Hurricane Genevieve churning in the Pacific Ocean could send swells and whip waves up to 9 feet along Southern California's coast. And tonight, we're learning more about that fearless lifeguard seen battling violent waves to rescue a 10-year-old boy in Santa Cruz as they were dragged into the surf. Bystanders jumping in. They can't get him. That young man, a 16-year-old junior lifeguard.
He's a hero. He should get a Medal of Honor or a huge race, something.
And tonight, President Trump sharing the video, saying he's going to bring that young lifeguard to the White House and give him a high civilian honor. And checking in with those lifeguards before you hit the water is one of the best things they say you can do to ensure your safety. With advisories already in effect, they expect another round of strong rip currents later this week. Whit.
Okay, Kana Whitworth, we appreciate it. New developments tonight in the search for a missing American woman in Grenada on vacation with a friend when she disappeared. Police now say she was last seen going for a swim, and what the family says new surveillance video now reveals. Here's ABC's Victor Okendo.
Tonight, nearly a week after American mother Liz Waddell mysteriously vanished from a vacation on the Caribbean island of Grenada, her family is pleading for help, releasing surveillance video they say shows her walking near the beach and jumping off a jetty. It comes just hours after police released new details saying the 44-year-old from North Carolina was last seen swimming under the jetty on July 22nd.
Investigators have also received several eyewitness accounts indicating that she was seen swimming in the open water.
Her husband, Kalen, is now in Grenada.
My wife is a loving, free-spirited person. She could make friends with anyone.
Police are using drones, divers, and dogs to scour the resort and coastline, saying they're determined to find answers for Waddell's family.
They seek answers, and we are here to provide those answers. It is our hope that Elizabeth will be found alive and well.
Waddell's husband has been retracing his wife's footsteps in Grenada, searching for answers. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward.
Victor Oquendo, our thanks to you tonight. Now to the desperate battle against raging wildfires in Europe. New evacuation orders and dangerous heat, with hundreds of thousands already forced from their homes. ABC's Marcus Moore is in France. Marcus?
This is what it looks like in Le Porge, just west of Bordeaux. There is scorched earth for as far as the eye can see, and some spots are still smoldering. There were new evacuations ordered here today as the temperatures continue to rise and firefighters were trying to get ahead of the flames. And this is happening in the well-known Bordeaux wine region, an area many Americans visit this time of year. But right now, it is the scene of a catastrophe that the president says is completely unprecedented. He said they haven't faced something like this since World War II. And the concern now is that as the temperatures rise, these fires will only get harder to stop.
All right, Marcus Moore, thank you. When we come back, the news coming in, the major airline that just issued a nationwide ground stop. We'll tell you why. The Amber Alert for a 13-year-old girl the moment deputies stopped her abductor's car. The joyride on a stolen backhoe, the trail of destruction left behind. Coyotes taking over an abandoned construction site, their late-night howling waking the neighborhood. And baseball fans cheering for the newest star, the untouchable squirrel in the outfield, how this ended. Just in tonight, American Airlines issuing a nationwide ground stop, a system outage blamed for the move, the order applying to all its flights and those of its subsidiary aircraft as well. American now says the problem has been corrected. Tonight, a 13-year-old girl from Ocala, Florida, rescued from a kidnapper less than half an hour after an Amber Alert went out. Deputies cornering the suspect in his vehicle. Authorities say dash cam video shows the driver waving a weapon. Shots were fired. He did not survive. The girl was in the car. She was not hurt. When we come back, a loud pack of coyotes taking over an abandoned construction site. To the Index tonight, a man arrested after taking a joyride on a stolen backhoe in San Diego. An eyewitness hearing the racket, seeing the backhoe knocking over signs in a street light, the bucket dragging behind, sending up sparks. Police arresting the driver a few blocks away. Next, an abandoned construction site in West Hollywood is now known as Coyote Condo. Neighbors say the site has been idle for at least 3 years. The coyotes moved in about 4 months ago. Dog walkers see them strolling the streets. Their loud howling, you can hear right there at night, keeping people up. City officials say they have had a coyote management and coexistence plan in place for several years. Still ahead, the squirrel bringing chaos and cheers in the outfield. The Major League play-by-play. Finally tonight, baseball fans cheering for Major League's newest star, the squirrel in the outfield.
Bottom of the 6th inning in Detroit, Tigers versus Orioles, when suddenly a surprise visitor.
Squirrel.
A squirrel scampering through the outfield.
Squirrel, look out.
The announcers delivering the play-by-play.
Down the stretch he comes, the squirrel getting to the finish line.
The grounds crew striking out.
The squirrel is on the move. The door is open. The standoff is on. I'm not leaving. I'm staying for the stunning conclusion of this game.
And then a bird joining the chaos.
Oh boy, now we just have Wild Kingdom. This game's been a zoo.
Next inning, the squirrel getting close to the players, watching the batter, running past the pitcher's mound. Finally, during the 7th inning stretch, more than a dozen groundskeepers in hot pursuit.
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members. And the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in? No, I won't be hemmed in.
The squirrel evading them all.
Trying to go between the legs, and eventually he gets away again and hops through the towel. And hops through another towel.
Fans joking online the squirrel has signed a 10-year deal with the Lions. No one can catch him. And stop showing the squirrel. My dog is going nuts. Eventually, the crew using a towel to catch the critter. The Tigers team mascot holding up a sign, "Free the squirrel." Later, to the relief of many, the team reporting the squirrel was released in fine health.
And we're all glad the squirrel is doing okay. Quite the scene out there. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Wade Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.